At 4 o'clock, we got number 21 Washington State. No, sorry, number 21 Washington, who's 4-1, traveling to Arizona State, who is 1-4. Washington only favored by 14 points, though, on the Pac-12 network. Michael Penix Jr. for Washington has gone 125 and 191. Thrown for 1,733 yards, 16 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Wayne Taulapapa on the ground has had 58 carries for 355 yards and 3 touchdowns. And Jalen McMillan on the ground has had 27 catches for 428 yards and 4 touchdowns. Emory Jones for Arizona State has gone 89 and 142, throwing for 1,061 yards, 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Xavier Valladay said 73 carries for 455 yards and 5 touchdowns, who is, in my opinion, one of the most underrated running backs in all of college football. He's really good, guys. He's a good freaking running back. But he's just forgotten about because he's on a horrible Arizona State team. But he's a good running back. Elijah Badger, I hardly know her. He's had 24 catches for 319 yards and a touchdown. Arizona State, weirdly enough, leads the series 21-17. And the last game went to Arizona State. Last Washington victory was in 2018. And last time they won at Arizona State was in 2001. Arizona State has won 12 of the last 14 times these two teams have played. So Arizona State has kind of dominated the series recently. Washington looks to get at least a win back in the series and get them closer to tying the series up. They're down by 4 games right now, so in 4 years we could see the series even up if Arizona State continues their direction and Washington continues there. But both these teams are coming off disappointing losses. Last week, Washington had I wouldn't say heartbreaker because UCLA definitely beat them pretty handily, but they did end up losing by 8, and they had a chance at the end of the game. But UCLA was too much to overcome, and honestly, that's not what I thought I was going to be saying about Washington. I thought that would be saying the other way around. But, it turns out for Washington, UCLA was a little bit too much to handle. And they gave Washington their first loss of the year, and suddenly Washington is on the brink of being eliminated. Every game from now on, if you're Washington, is an elimination game. And you're traveling to Arizona State, who actually did put up a fight against USC last weekend before the second half ultimately got away from them. But they gave UCLA a fight for the majority of the game, and they did cover that spread, which is what I was looking for last weekend. I think this game's really going to be interesting here, right? I expect Washington to have a bounce-back game. I still think Washington was one of the better teams in the Pac-12, and I actually do think there's a good amount of good teams in the Pac-12 this year. A lot of them are ranked. I believe Washington State's probably the only team I think that is really good in the Pac-12 that is not ranked. But I expect Washington to go on the road and kind of dismantle the Sun Devils. And I think Arizona State's handed their 5th loss of the year, and I expect Washington to hand it to them and pretty handily. Give me Washington to win and cover on the road.